Hello and welcome to Tech on Top. My name is Jessica Walker and today we're diving into the fascinating world of crypto and how to optimize the next crypto market. And joining me, I have Crypto Wendy, host of The Wendy Show, and also daily content creator. So good to have you here.
I'm so excited. It's finally nice to meet you in person. I feel like we've been following each other for a long time. We've been a fan of each other's content. So we're in person. It's not Zoom. We are here. I'm so excited.
And we were geeking out about the podcast studio as well. We were like, okay, maybe we should go into more in-person filming. So this is fun.
Powered by Fluid, the global financial super app.
Okay, amazing. So the idea of this podcast episode for everyone that is watching is to really get a revamp on a kind of crypto investing 101. You've been in the space for several years. How did you first get into crypto?
So end of 2017, I was very interested in kind of making a change. I was working full-time in healthcare and I went into a TD Ameritrade because I wanted to start investing in stocks because I was like, okay, I can do this. I can, trade from home. I feel like GoPro was like going bonkers. And I was like, oh, all these people are making money. I can be a full-time mom. I can, finish my college degree and, learn to trade or invest because I was looking for entrepreneurial things to do. So I went into TD Ameritrade and they were like, you need $25,000 to start. And I was like, oh, I have $25,000, but it was for school because I was, going to finish my bachelor's. So I was like, this isn't going to work for me because I wasn't financially I was financially stable, but I wasn't like, I'm not where I am today.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't do this.
You can't just put 25 on the sidelines and just be like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't do this. And then I kept hearing about Bitcoin on libertarian radio because I'm like right down the middle. I just want people to love themselves and be nice. Don't do harm to other people, whatever you want to do. It's like, I'm going to buy some of this stuff because I originally heard about Bitcoin back in 2011, but I was like, I'm not tech savvy enough, but I was kind of feeling a little bit desperate. So then I went on Coinbase because back of end of 2017, that's really all there was Coinbase. It was the easiest on-ramp. It was the only app. And so I bought like a little bit of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And then a family friend saw me talking about it. He's like, you have to join crypto Twitter. I was like, I don't like Twitter. I don't want to be on social media. And then I did. And I saw all these people, like all these anonymous cartoon characters posting charts. I was like, oh, I have a math background. If they can do it, I can do it. So then I started posting my charts and people liked my content.
And the rest is history. And now I saw you recently hit 250K on TikTok. So congrats.
Thank you.
And for me, I have been watching your content for such a long time. And one thing that I love about your crypto journey is you were like, if they can do it, I can do it. And I think for a lot of people in the space now, or people that are looking and watching from the sidelines, they maybe need that little bit of boost of confidence that if anyone can do it, they can do it as well. So talk us through the first few months of your kind of investing journey. Where would you go for some of your information and what kind of maybe mistakes did you make along the way?
So I kind of learned how to trade in a bear market, and bear markets are different than bull markets. Like when I first started really investing in crypto and trading altcoins, it was when John McAfee had the coin of the day and those things used to like pump like absolute crazy. So it was super easy to make money. Yeah. Like you needed like light technical analysis and you can dump money into something and you were a savant, things would go up. So during the bear, we actually were in the bear market, I was like focusing more on technicals, like learning how to trade technical analysis. The way that I learn, I need like a book. I need to highlight stuff, whatever. I'm super old school. Mm-hmm. So I went to eBay. I bought 2 used books. I think it was The Idiot's Guide to Technical Analysis and The Candlestick's Guide for Dummies. And I think I spent $20 on those books. And so I started reading those every day on my lunch breaks or when I had free time before I went to bed, I would spend 10 minutes reading, educating myself. And then I found Investopedia. Investopedia is my favorite resource. I wish they would be my sponsor one day because I shield them all the time. Shout out Investopedia. But I shield them all the time to my audience. It's like, if you don't have money to educate yourself, that's fine. Like Investopedia is free. If you don't understand a word that's there, just Google it. So I learned how to start trading during the bear market. And things were going good. I was making money. But what my biggest mistake was not really paying attention to a lot of the fundamentals and not understanding that in crypto bear markets, things dump 80 to 90%. A lot of stuff ends up going away, not because the projects are filled with bad people and they're doing, mean things on purpose, but because entrepreneurship is hard. So I didn't know that. So in this this bear market, I'm a lot careful what I'm buying. Like people are like, Wendy, what are you buying? I'm like, I'm not buying anything yet. Like I am waiting. Like I'll take short-term trades here and there, but to accumulate and swing trade later, I'm not interested yet because I don't think the bottom is in. I could be 100% wrong, but I don't want to lose money like I lost last time.
Yes, I feel like everyone has had their painful market correction where they go, you know what? Everyone thinks they're an expert. I know we've been making content for a while. I find that actually viewership goes down. I was with CoinMarketCap. Viewership goes down in a bull market because everyone's like, dude, I'm 10% up on the week. Like, I don't need to watch a video on how to trade. But then when a bear market, people go, actually, I do need to level up and I do need to check my skills. So fast forward to November 2022, where we are now. You've said right now it's a bear market, but you're not actually kind of allocating right now. So what kind of things are you looking out for as a next step?
So what I'm doing is I'm refreshing on my trading, and I'm still doing paper trading. I always will do paper trading no matter what. People can make fun of me. I don't care. But when you can never stop learning. Like, you can. Like, if anybody ever tells you, oh, that's so stupid that you're getting a refresh on RSI or a refresh on how to draw divergences or whatever it is, that's not stupid. If anything, like, it's good because you're reminding your brain, like, and maybe you had forgot something. So a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, like, I have limit orders set all the way down for Bitcoin. I want to get, like, if we hit $10,000 Bitcoin, I want to pick some up at that price. I'm not saying it's going to hit that, but if you look at the fractal-based technical analysis, you look at previous market cycles, we generally corrected like 85%. So I have my bid set for that. As far as altcoins go, I'm looking for projects that are affiliated with NFTs. NFTs seem to be the only thing that is going on in crypto right now. Like, a lot of people are still trading and doing whatever. That's fine. That's their business. But the NFT ecosystem is popping off. Like, there's stuff that's happening all the time. And I trade NFTs the same way I trade crypto, is I buy like 2 or more. Hopefully number goes up. When that does happen, I'll sell it. I'll take some profit. I try to get my initial investment back to where I can hold that one NFT free and clear, like a moon bag. And that's what I do with all my crypto assets. Like, always, all the time. It doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, doesn't matter if it's Ethereum, but I'm looking for projects that are focusing, like cryptocurrencies that are focused or built around NFTs, or that will help those thrive, because NFTs are essentially cryptocurrency. They're just are kind of marketed a little bit differently. But I think like the GameFi and the play to earn and the Web3 and the metaverse stuff, that's going to do well next cycle. But I don't think right now is necessarily the time to buy yet. I feel like it's good to watch and to educate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for people that are sitting on the sidelines, say they've accumulated a little bit, and I think one thing that we hear a lot in this space is like, if you are going to go in and you are going to go in with, let's say you're not a trader, because I think some people also need to remind themselves, like, trading is an art. You said you've leveled up. Yeah, not everyone can trade, and not everyone that can trade is also then good at trading as well. So it's a tough one to kind of get. So if you are just looking to invest, is dollar cost average. So it's kind of putting some stuff in slowly. Some people are kind of yay, some people are nay on dollar cost averaging on, like, let's say Bitcoin and Ethereum. What's your take on it?
So if somebody wants to dollar cost average on Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever it is they want to, totally fine. I have no problem with it. I just think if you're going to do that, you need to have a trading or investing plan. Like, if you're just someone who's like, okay, I'm not a trader, I'm not good at it, technical analysis is skim, that's fine, that's your business. But if you don't have an investing journal and you don't have like how much disposable income you're using, when you plan on selling, how long you want to hold for, are you comfortable with holding this bag for 80% down? If you don't have those there, and if you haven't done your risk management analysis, you have no business investing. Like, you don't. In the United States, we're so used to work a 9-to-5 job, and we give our employer, like, we say, okay, like, take 2% out of my paycheck, put it in a 401k. We're allowing other people to invest for us. That's totally fine. That's your business. But in crypto, we have the ability to own our own money and to make decisions for ourselves. So if you're somebody who just wants the dollar cost average in Bitcoin, that's fine. But Bitcoin is still a very speculative asset. It is not just because, we have this narrative that it's a hedge against inflation, that it's going to be the ultimate currency, doesn't mean that's going to be the reality. The market decides, and the market doesn't care about you, doesn't care about me, cares about nobody but itself. So just as long as you've got that plan and you understand, I think that dollar cost averaging is okay. I'm more of a limit order person. I like to control, my bids and have a little bit more control of the market, but whatever works.
And if we look back at last year, because you mentioned they're kind of like Web3 gamified tokens, they were the big ones that really took off in 2021. And I kind of looked back at some of the best performers of 2021, because this was a really big performer year. So for everyone that was in crypto, we were like, holy shit, you know, for ages it was kind of the clickbait titles, well, Bitcoin hit 100K, and then all of a sudden 60 something $1,000. And we were like, wow, okay, this is actually getting mainstream attention. Again, this is getting like a new set of eyeballs, but there were some really big gainers out there. So we've got Polygon, for example, 11,000% increase in 2021. Solana was also a really big gain in 9,000. We also had Terra Luna, which was 11,000 at the time.
Yeah.
Look at this year, and obviously we saw this kind of implode. For people that are watching on the sidelines, this could be something that could just deter them from crypto in general. They could be like, you know what? Fuck that. Like, I'm staying well away from this industry because I don't trust it. I had colleagues that were kind of previously working with Solana as community members, and they were holding a lot of their stable coins in UST. And it's just, it is unfortunately something that can happen in the space. I think it's a terrible situation that happened for people that were holding. For new investors, how can they protect themselves against these kind of situations? And is that even possible?
It is possible, and it's profit taking. And I get a lot of because I do a lot of TikTok videos, and I used to argue with Dogecoin Army, argued with like every single community there. I'm like, you have to take profit. I don't care how you take it, but you need to figure out when you're going to take it. And you need to understand if you don't take profit, you can hold this thing down 90%. And now they're like, oh, we believe you, we believe you. And I'm not telling people to sell their entire bag. I'm not saying, okay, you have to sell everything and miss out on a pump. What I do is I create a moon bag. It's basically you invest in an asset, you've done your trading journal, you have a plan, you know when you're going to cut just in case, market ends up turning, but you take some profit out and you remove your initial investment, you remove some profit, and then whatever you own free and clear, I don't care if it's I don't care if it's 0.001 Ethereum. I don't care what it is because all of our incomes are different. But at least you are mitigating risk.
Yeah.
Because Ethereum just completed a really big change from proof of work to proof of stake. It could go away tomorrow. And I'm not fighting, I'm not saying it is. But in the bull markets, we see all this euphoria and people refuse to take profit. And that's why having a trading or investing plan is important and understanding the risk is important. Moon bags are great because I've had moon bags and the coins ended up going to zero and it sucked. I lost money because if I would have sold the entire bag, okay, I would have made money. But at the same time, I went ahead and I mitigated risk. Was I able to sell the top? No, not on most stuff. But at the same time, I was able to profit. I was able to get that capital and roll it over into something else and rinse and repeat. And we do need to understand, and part of my job is I need to preach risk management to my audience because they rely on me, for guidance at times. So we always talk about making a moon bag and we talk about, profit taking. We did a Dogecoin trade the other day and I was like, okay, Dogecoin's probably going to hit about 10 cents. So consider taking profit. Obviously it went past the 10-cent area, but I closed my position out at 10 cents and people, they did well with that. It was good to see people actually taking profit. They're like, yeah, I closed the trade out. Everything went good. I'm like, yay, that's what you want to do. You don't want to keep buying and not have an exit or not take profit, especially in these types of markets. And also identifying what market it is you're investing in. If you're investing in a bull market, it's going to be easy to make money. If you're investing in a bear market, you're going to have to make do with the 1% gain or the 5% gain or 10% gain.
And how tied should people be to coins? Because obviously you've kind of touched on some of the communities there, Doge community, for example. But in general, if I look at the coins that I invested in 2017, they're very different. I wouldn't invest in them now. I think one of my first investments was IOTA in June of 2017. And actually it did really well. But then 2018, I was like, okay, I'm not going to invest in this again. So it's almost kind of forming a relationship with a token that you're investing in and then having the ability to wave goodbye to it in a few months if you've taken profit and you've said, okay, that performed how I needed it to. How important is that when it comes to the kind of token communities and also that relationship that you'll have to your investments? So
one of the biggest problems in crypto, and this goes for NFTs too, is the community. I have to hold to be a part of the community. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's why I like the moon bag strategy, because you've already removed your initial investment, you've taken some profit, you've removed all the risk, so you can still be a part of that community or whatever that means. But I think it's important for people to know, the community, I'm sure they're comprised of really great people, but at the end of the day, they're not paying your bills. Yeah. They're not going to pay for your retirement. They're not going to make sure your kids are your kids are taken care of. You are here to invest. Your job is to make as much money as possible, as ethically as possible. And, people get mad at you for selling and you've done it ethically and you followed your trading and investing plan. I don't know, you shouldn't be around those people because everybody else, that's what markets do. People are taking profit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it can kind of evolve and year on, year out. So you mentioned Dogecoin there, and I think that's been a big talking point in the last month. You're like, okay, I've talked about it enough.
Like, don't cover me, people. I made a video like when all this crazy stuff started happening. It was like one of my most watched YouTube videos. I was like, Dogecoin's not hitting $1. The comments are like, it's gonna hit $1. It's gonna hit $1. It never hit $1. And I told people, like, if you want to invest in this, that's your business. Make sure you take your profit. And I got a lot of people that are bag holding from like 50 cents, not because of me, because of them. Because I was like, dude, this is not going to go to $1. I really don't think it's going to go to $1. If it's wrong, if I'm wrong, I will apologize. I'll eat my words, but maybe next cycle. I just don't think this cycle.
And I think everyone's also kind of questioning the future integrations and what Doge could do with Twitter, for example, and where the industry is heading when it comes to utility of these kind of coins. Do you see it having more of a presence next year? Or is this something where you think, okay, Doge has ridden the hype coin. People have it's carved its space in the ecosystem, but it's not going to go much more past this.
So it really depends, and you have to look at the fundamentals. Yes, it's a meme coin. Yes, people like it. Yes, a lot of the mainstream masses people, they've bought it because of easy accessibility due to Robinhood. Fantastic. So those are some fundamental things that we have. Now that Elon Musk has completed the Twitter acquisition, it's his platform and his investors and whatnot. It's not just him, you guys. He's got other people he's got to appease. There's shareholders. There's, CZ from Binance. I believe Binance, they invested like $500 million.
Binance is everywhere. Binance is everywhere, and no one really knows. But they've got their hand in a lot of bags.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like we have new fundamental evidence that, okay, this might actually go somewhere. And I was talking about earlier on my show, like, yeah, Elon Musk was tweeting about it, and he owns Tesla or whatever that deal is, and they might accept Dogecoin for Tesla payments. How many people own Teslas? How many people in the world can afford to own a Tesla?
Yeah.
So maybe that's not super bullish for me, because I like to pay attention to the masses, to the underdogs, okay? People that all over the world that, they don't make a whole lot of money. But now the fact that Elon Musk acquired Twitter is a completely different ballgame, because if they do, in fact, integrate a crypto wallet, which they've already integrated NFTs, and I highly think that they will eventually do a crypto wallet. But again, at the same time, we're going to have to get news from the SEC that Dogecoin is not a security. Because I don't think Elon Musk, no matter how much he loves Dogecoin, I don't think he's going to allow it on the platform, on Twitter, if it's deemed a security. Like, there's only so much he can do. Just because he has more money in God doesn't mean he is above the SEC and United States regulators.
Yeah. And I think also last year as well, he did come under crossfire for having tweets that they said in some way could actually be classed as manipulating the market. So I think already with Twitter, Dogecoin and investments, there is already going to be kind of extra concern from a regulatory standpoint. So you've said regulation there, and this is also something, it's not such a sexy topic. People don't go, okay, let's dive into regulation, talk about it. However, it does bring a kind of start and stop halt to crypto adoption as we see it. I think one thing that we saw recently in the UK was some of the banks, I think Santander was one of them, were limiting, okay, this is how much you can on and off ramp into crypto exchanges from your bank. So to a certain extent, if we're following the masses, regulatory bodies can kind of press and pause on the brakes of acceleration for adoption. How much do you keep an eye on what the SEC is doing and regulation around the world? And how much of it is just, you have to wait until they've actually actioned something, because talk doesn't impact the market that much?
So I pay attention. I pay attention to what's happening in UK. We actually covered the bank earlier. I think that they're allowing you to do like max of $1,000 business with a crypto exchange, whatever that looks like, and then withdraw a max of $3,000 in 1 month. Some people, like, as I get paid in crypto, I do consulting. There's all different types of things I do. I trade. So a lot of my income is crypto based. I wouldn't be able to use the bank, but it's important to pay attention to different things, regulatory things that's happening. You don't have to be like, oh my God, and be like super nervous all the time, but you should have an idea of what could happen. A positive case and a negative case. And because if you have this mindset like, oh, regulation is never going to happen, you're going to get absolutely wrecked. And a lot of the stuff you're holding could get deemed as a security. Like, we don't really know what's going to happen. So I think it's important to focus on it, not give too much weight to it, but still pay attention to what's happening, because you want to make sure your position. Like, for example, what if you're holding a lot of a particular stablecoin and a certain state in the United States says, we don't like this, we're going to outlaw it. And you live in that state, like, you're kind of going to get screwed a little bit. So you should pay attention to it. I know it's not sexy, and I really don't want regulation, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And I just think people should pay attention to it and watch my show, listen to you, and, listen to like the legal people, like the attorneys on Twitter or, TikTok that are talking about all this stuff.
Very true. So if I look kind of over my years of making content in crypto, and there's been a few things that have dented the crypto price more than just kind of like the bear market that we're in now. There was a few things like, for example, if there was a large hack on a cryptocurrency exchange, or there was kind of big news that crypto was deemed unsafe for some reason, that would also, especially 2018, 2019, when the markets were still a little bit shaky, that would also impact the price. So how much does stability also come into this? And is this something that, if you're a newbie, if you've put in $3,000 and you're like, okay, this is like what I've got this year to invest into crypto, and you do see the market drop 10, 15% because of a hack or regulatory news, and you freak out a little bit, what should you do as an investor? And is it just riding the wave?
Well, again, it goes back to the trading or investing plan. Are you using disposable income? Because if you're not, you have no business investing. You need to understand what disposable income is. Like maybe you're somebody who likes Starbucks every day. Well, cut back on Starbucks twice a week, use that money, add it to your investment package or whatever that is. But I think it's important for people to actually write these things down. Like I know some people like to use laptops or whatever, they go digital. But for me, I like to actually have a physical, write down okay, this is my entry. This is my plan. This is what my hopes are. These are what my dreams are. This is what I would like to hit. But if we drop to X, I'm going to sell because I don't want to get hit again. So, and it really depends. And if you're somebody that's very emotional, that's why you do the investing or trading plan. And then if something does happen where your stop may be hit, you take a step back, you remove the emotions, and then you make a decision. You never want to make a decision when you're tired or you're hungry or your kid is like screaming or whatever.
And you just want to go to bed. You're like, just close it out.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen, because like there's hacks all the time. There's exploits that happen all the time. And again, it's not because the teams are necessarily bad. Like there are some inside jobs, but at the same time, like there's especially with all the bridges that we're seeing, there's bridge exploits all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy thing. So that's another thing you need to have as part of your risk area in your trading or investing plan. Does this project offer a bridge? And actually one thing that I want to tell you that I was actually going to make a TikTok about in your audience was, if you're somebody who invested in a project in the bull market, you took your profit out, you removed your initial investment, and you have this moon bag and something that you really believe in, you still need to pay attention to that particular asset, regardless if you made it a moon bag or not. Because sometimes when they change tokenomics, sometimes the token supply changes. If they change the roadmap, there's going to be things that are going to impact that coin fundamentally that when you initially invested in it 6 months ago weren't an issue, weren't a factor. So that's another thing you need to pay attention to. If you're not actively paying attention to a project that you've invested in and know like, hey, okay, they changed the tokenomics or they changed the code or they changed XYZ, that can impact price. And that means number can go down, or it could be a bullish thing and it can go up. So please, for the love of God, you guys, please, just because you own something and it's down 90%, make sure that you are still paying attention to what's happening, because the project can go away. And at least if you're down 90%, that's part of your trading invest plan, that's your business, you still have time to get some of your capital back, or vice versa.
Getting in and out of crypto? We have the newest solution. Stop paying fees on crypto exchanges and stop waiting long processing times. At Fluid, our one roof structure allows you to get in and out of crypto in seconds, direct from your bank account. Sign up and download the app today.
That's such a good point, because a lot of people will say, if you just buy these 5 altcoins and Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then you leave it for 3 years and don't even look at it. And what you're saying is, actually, no, you guys do need to check up on it and check how things are performing and how the team is forming as well. Because I think one thing that people don't talk about as much when you go on YouTube channels is the team is really important, and also kind of how they are with partnerships, this moving forward as well as just charts. For me, they kind of both come in together.
And the VCs too, like a lot of, it's another thing I scream about to my audience. I'm like, if you're going to invest in a pre-sale, understand there's other people that are getting allocations before you. Number is going to go up. It's going to pump. And there's people that are taking profit along the way up. So if you're somebody that wasn't able to get in for the allocation or whatever that is, wait for that pattern that goes up, and then it goes down, and then it goes sideways. That's generally what you'll see. And sometimes you'll get 2 pumps, whatever. But you do have to understand, like, there's people, there's VCs, and a lot of people don't talk about this, but you have, like, if a team is not transparent with who is, like, how much these allocations are, whether influencer allocations or media allocations or VCs or team allocations. You need to be able to see when the vesting is over, like when they're getting their allocations, because they're going to be taking profit. Like crypto VCs are very different than traditional VCs. Like they say that they're going to help the project do X, Y, and Z. Most of them aren't. So that's something that people need to pay attention to, is when people are going to be getting allocations for their tokens, because let's face it, these teams have bills to pay. They have to pay marketing people. They have to pay devs. They have to do all kinds of stuff. And if you're not focusing on when they're taking profit, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to end up buying the top of that when you could have said, hey, they're taking profit on June 1st, 2025, or excuse me, they're getting their coin, another coin allocation on June 1st, 2025. Maybe I should wait 24 hours, wait until people have taken profit and then get in. Then you can buy that bottom.
Yeah. And that's a really good point, because actually in crypto, there's been some of the most community-led, caring people that have long-term incentives that are very like philanthropic and just generally kind. But also it is a Wild West, and people are here just to make money. And people can also see that this is the kind of modern day gold rush, this is the time to make opportunities. So you also have to be really careful what projects you're allocating with in that regard. If we go back to NFTs and the metaverse, because you mentioned that's the next thing that you're expecting is going to be kind of the interesting gains for looking forward, how would you even start to dive into the world of metaverse tokens, and like where to even begin? Because for a newbie, you're like, do I have to play the games to invest in those kind of tokens? How should I move forward?
So it kind of depends. So I believe there's a tab, I think it's on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, but there's a tab for like metaverse or NFT tokens. So you can start to do your own research that way. And then you want to kind of go through and like look what's out there. Do they have a working game? Who are they partnered with? Can you confirm those partnerships? Go to their socials, check their socials. How do they talk? Join the Discord. Join the communities. Do you like the way that people are communicating in there? If not, that might not be for you. But it's a good way to start. Like right now is a really great time to start doing research on a lot of these different projects. And like you might not be a big gamer, but you resonate with the people in the community. You're like, this is great. So I know with NFTs, it's such a different, like people are not even reporting on it. Like CoinDesk isn't reporting, Cointelegraph, not a whole lot on NFTs. Like you have to be on NFT Twitter to see what's happening. Yeah. So again, pay attention to some of the things that people are talking about. I'm not telling you to buy, please, unless you understand how these things work. Please wait to buy, but just start researching and looking and reading and watching videos and understanding how these things work and how, like, what's the utility? Like the utility might be a great one. You don't know. So you just have to put yourself out there and network, talk to people.
And I think what's interesting as well with the NFT space is like it's so vast. There's so many different sub pillars. So like if you like real world music use cases, you can find NFTs that will really cater to that. If you're looking at metaverse and you're looking at the music industry or the film industry, there's different sub hobbies that you can get into. But would you say those are possibly better investments because you're buying into it, which means other people might as well? Or would you say actually for kind of, if we're looking at crypto gains in the next 2 years, you need to stick to more of what you were mentioning earlier, which is looking at the charts and more market research?
It's all of it. It's honestly combined. It's all of it. But it also depends. And I am not a person, like I don't have any paid courses. I just put content out there. And one of the things I tell people is hear what I say, but listen to yourself. Just because I talk about a project that I like and I've invested in doesn't mean that's the right project for you. You have to look at different aspects of the market, see what you resonate with. Like the cool thing about crypto is like when you're investing in a traditional stock, there's no Telegram group you can join or Discord community you can join and be like, oh, what's happening with the community? What's happening with the project? Like, let me talk to the founders. Crypto and NFTs allow you to have direct access to like high up people in the projects. And that's super cool because it gives you a better idea how to invest in this stuff. So if you're somebody who's like, I don't know where to start, just start paying attention to different things, figure out what part you're most passionate about and you resonate with, and then join those communities and then maybe consider investing after it makes sense. But don't just buy something because somebody's talking about it. Get to know the community, get to know the people, and you'll make a lot better investing decisions then, in my opinion.
And how do you find the appetite of people that are based in the US? You've mentioned kind of the TikTok crowd is a really heavy investing crowd. I was actually really impressed when I went on TikTok. I was like, wow, like you've got 17, 18-year-olds that are so active. They're looking how to level up their investing, which for me, I think is awesome. I think it's so impressive. How would you find the US in general when it comes to their investing approach and also their crypto curiosity?
So when it comes to the US, it really depends. Like people have heard about Dogecoin, they've heard about Bitcoin, but we're still like so far behind so many other places. Like we don't have clear regulation, we don't have clear guidelines. And our school system is partially to blame for the lack of education for your everyday person. We're taught in plain English in school, but all our laws and regulations and a lot of the verbiage in books is not taught in plain English. It's very complex. Like I have a pretty decent math background. I remember reading the math books for like calculus and I'm like, oh my God, what does this even mean? Like it's complex.
Yeah.
And our school systems, they don't teach about personal finance. They don't teach about investing. We don't really teach about technology. So we're so much more further behind. And we also in America, we don't hit hard on the critical thinking aspect. Critical thinking is so important. And you should be questioning things. Like our school system doesn't support that. You should be questioning things. We should want to learn more. We should be, taking deeper dives. We should look at the pro opinion, the con opinion, and the middle opinion. I don't know, I just wish better for Americans. But at the same time, people are excited. And I do think that crypto and NFTs we will see a lot more mainstream adoption like in the next 5 to 10 years, not now. And then also to the CBDC that we're going to get. We know it's coming, we just don't know.
Yes, that'll be an interesting one. That's a whole other rabbit to touch on because this video is sponsored by Fluid Finance and they're actually launching in the US next year. And this is a bank alternative that links to your Web3 wallet. And I think one thing that's so exciting about that is it's making it accessible for people. So it's not, okay, I have to go onto an exchange and I have to pay this fee and then I have to move it to MetaMask. And what even is MetaMask? It's just making the whole thing easier, which we're hoping will help support adoption kind of one step at a time. But we're going to go back to CBDCs.
I love that, though. I love that what they're doing because we need to have solutions. And people get mad all the time. There's all these solutions and which one's the best. Use what works for you. Use what works for you. And it's good that we have all of this competition in the market because it forces all of these companies to be like, hey, we want to outdo you. No, I want to outdo you. And you want to pay attention. You want to invest your money, in my opinion. I like to invest in competitors, like seeing people actively butting heads and competing.
Yes. It's healthy, actually, because it makes the best product as well for the user. And you can see kind of a user flow. And some of the things that we've noticed since launching in Europe has been like, okay, what kind of things do our community ask for? What kind of things do they need to see? And it's so interesting to see how the industry will moving forward. Because you mentioned Coinbase back in 2017 when you started investing. I was like a Bitfinex girl and I hated Bitfinex UX UI. I was like, this is so complicated. I was like originally a Forex broadcast journalist, but not a trader. So for me, I was like, I have stumbled into this industry and this is why I try and make content on it because I'm like, I'm not a crypto finance girly, but I'm trying to educate and tell more people about it. But that was just terrible. And I'm like,
I remember, do you remember the liquidation emails were always the worst or like your stop was like whatever. It was just like, I feel like if you haven't been liquidated on BitMEX, then don't do it though. Don't do it.
You're not a true crypto vet.
Don't do it though. Don't go do it. It's not fun. You don't want it. Losing money is not good.
But also when even suspended trading halts in Coinbase, for example, like if the Coinbase, I think there's also something to educate the newbies on is like if there's a surge in traffic, whether it's highs or lows, there's also kind of suspended trading can sometimes happen on crypto exchanges. And that can also cause a freak out. That can cause people to be like, oh my God, what is happening? Am I going to be stuck with my funds? So there's so many little things to navigate through and just kind of ride the wave. And you mentioned do your own research. I do want to touch on CBDCs before we because this is a big one. I think everyone around the world has different opinions on this. What's your take?
I don't want them. We don't need them. The only way I would say yes, we can have them is if they were 100% transparent. We can see everything that all the governments were spending their money on. They're not going to have that though. Like they're like, oh, we've done test trials here in this country and test trials here and this and that. On who? The people or you? All the test trials should be done on the public servants. Why? Because if you guys don't know how to actively use this, why are you pushing it to the people that you're in office to serve? We pay their salaries. It's very problematic to me. I don't want people knowing that I go to Target every Sunday at 7 a.m. in the morning, and I don't want them to know what I'm buying or what I'm doing. Like I'm a very private person. Everybody deserves their privacy. Everybody deserves access to their money. And I think it's just really an infringement on people's liberties. I'm not for it. I understand why they want to do it. But I just don't think it's going to end well for anybody, like if we don't make a little bit of noise about it.
And I think people don't understand to such an extent now how much data on humans is being monitored. So we were at LA Blockchain Week a few days ago. Someone gave a talk and they were saying that their friend is running for Congress in a certain area, and they had a kind of portfolio of every single citizen that's over the legal age to vote in the US. And they were saying it'll be recorded on the Draper Gordon Home YouTube site for anyone that does want to go and dive into it. But I'm not going to kind of give the name. I'll let people kind of scope it out themselves. And they were saying that they looked themselves up, and there was 56 pages. And it wasn't only if your stance on abortion, for example, but it was, okay, you're pro-abortion, but at this term you disagree with it. And there was such detail that this in the hands of CBDC on top of those together.
That's scary because, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, I'm just very passionate about this because I am very, I'm straight down the middle. I'm straight down the middle. I don't care what people do, just as long as they're not harming any other person. Consent is very, very important. We always protect our children. But I also don't want to tell somebody no, you shouldn't do this medical procedure. You're an adult. You're mentally competent. I don't want to tell you what to do with your body, and I don't want somebody to tell me what to do with my body, or if I say something that an opposing person might not like, I don't know if they're mentally they're ill or not. You don't know people. So the fact that all of that data is out there, that's scary. That's super, super scary, because somebody might not like my stance. Oh, she's not blue, she's not red, she's right down the middle. That means that she's whatever. And then they can censor me. You can, and if you control somebody's money, especially the times we live in, we're not bartering with seashells. We're not bartering with animals. We're not bartering with fruits and vegetables. We are using cash, whether it's tangible or not. That's how we survive. And if you cut somebody's money off, you cut their livelihood off. Yeah. And I'm a big proponent of protecting families, a big proponent of liberty, a big proponent of not messing with people's money and being a decent human being. It's something I'm very passionate about.
Well, this is why you're in this space. This is why you're so good at what you do, because you care. You're for the people.
I care about them because some people, this is the thing. You'll hear in America, it's if you don't vote this, then you're a bad person. No, I just don't, I just want to be down the middle. I just want people to do what they want to do. But it worries me that we come to this place in America to where if you don't believe everything that this politician says, that automatically means you're for the other politician, you're a terrible person. No, I just don't agree with what you're saying. And I just want liberty and equality for everybody.
And unfortunately, I think you're completely right with the avenue that we're headed. And I think this is going to be that catalyst for Web3, is I think people aren't slowly going to migrate to Web3 because it's got a better user interface and it's faster and you can earn a little bit of money for your own data. I unfortunately think there's going to be a kind of correction where people go, holy shit, this has been terrible. I've had my privacy rights completely revoked on one of the major platforms. I now feel like I have to move to Web3. And I think that will happen in the next 2 to 3 years, which is also a scary thing. But for everyone that's watching, it's kind of educate yourself on Web3 platforms and how you can start to maybe spread out the axis of what platforms you use between Web2 and Web3 as well.
No, it's super important because in the US, we have a big stigma against people that have been to prison or people that have been to jail. And a lot of the people that they've done dumb stuff when they're teenagers or kids. And again, I'm not supporting crime. I'm not supporting you need to go out and do bad things. I'm simply saying humans make mistakes. Yeah. Okay. So let's say you get a petty crime, you ran a red light and you got a ticket and you forgot to pay the ticket, so that's on your record. Well, guess what? You can't get a job because you had to do time or whatever that may be. So that's marked in the CBDC system, and then you can't get a job, so you start a car detailer business or whatever, your Uber driver. Well, guess what? I go transact with them, and because their wallet's flagged by OFAC that they're this bad person, when in reality they just didn't pay their freaking red light ticket or whatever, then my account gets flagged. There's just so many problematic things that could happen, and it's frustrating.
Totally. And someone also mentioned earlier that they said the example of cars has always been a tool of freedom. So the fact that you can get in, you can drive anywhere that you want to go, and you can drive the speed that you want to go. And now the fact that now there's automatic cars and there's controlled cars and there's driverless cars is also kind of moving to this paradigm of a CBDC world where everything is controlled, and actually to navigate without your mobile or without a car or without the kind of a CBDC currency in the next 30, 40 years actually could be kind of a difficult shift. So as a final note, what kind of advice would you give to audiences? I know we've kind of gone down a little bit of a deep, heavy rabbit hole.
I'm going to have you come on my show, and then we'll talk more about this. Or we'll do Twitter Spaces together, and we'll just rant and rave. We'll bring my amazing co-host, Hotep Jesus, because we do our Twitter Spaces together. We'll have to find a time and we'll just go off, because I'm just
I know this could go down a complete rabbit hole for hours. But
all right, trading.
so final, because this video will go live in a few weeks. So this will be December 2022 for everyone that is watching. Markets typically in December as a kind of final wrap up, and what kind of things as like a next action point for newbies?
So next action point is if you are brand new to crypto, that's okay. You don't have to be tech savvy. You don't have to know how to trade. First step is always read the Bitcoin white paper. Kind of have an understanding of what Bitcoin is, okay? Google terms that you might not know if you hear permissionless or open source or immutable. Google terms, that's okay. You are here to improve the quality of your life. Start with the Bitcoin white paper. And then if you want to play with alts and stuff, that's fine. But go to Investopedia, learn about basic support and resistance, learn about market cycles, understand we're still operating on a 4-year cycle, create a trading or investing plan. Take things slow. Another thing that I always recommend is a lot of these exchanges, one off the top of my head I can think of is BingX, but they have a demo.
Okay.
Like what is it called? It's a demo. They have their regular exchange, but then like the demo platform.
Yeah.
So you can practice paper trading. So you can see like how well are my investments doing. Mm-hmm. And that's good to know that like to keep track of, like if you're a profitable trader, yeah, go ahead and dump a little bit of capital in that you feel comfortable with. Or if you're a profitable investor, go ahead and dump a little bit of capital in. But don't just think you're going to put money into crypto and you're going to get rich. Doesn't work that way. Back test everything that you're doing. Don't trust anybody and take your time. This is not a race. It's really, really not a race. Understand this is your capital. This is your money that you've worked hard for. Nobody is going to bail you out if something happens. And you're going to have to take responsibility for your actions and make sure you know when you're able to cut that position.
Love that. Amazing final few words. Wendy, thank you so much. It was so good to have you. And we will have to do this again. There's so much we need to cover, but it was such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you all again really soon.